Hey everyone, welcome to Kempner Canucks. My name is RevTrev, and I'm so glad you're here because tonight we're going to be diving in to some big news out of Sportsnet Hockey Night in Canada. Big changes are happening. Yes, Hrudey is not coming back. I want to know what you think about this. I'm going to obviously share my opinion. I'm so glad you're here. Let's dive in. All right, we're going to dive into this conversation because it's an important one. If you are living in Vancouver, listen, Hockey Night in Canada is the thing. And it has been for so long. Now CBC used to run it for decades, and now Sportsnet has taken it over, and it hasn't been the same. We know that. They've tried their best to make it better. And Hrudey has been informed, and I guess it was in June, that he was no longer coming back. I just watched his little video that he mentioned that he's not returning. And there's a lot. So there's going to be changes happening. And there's a lot of things like when I was a kid or a young adult or a teenager, whatever, I mean, we had Coach's Corner, right? Coach's Corner, we'll talk about that in a minute. And that was awesome. That was awesome. But when they went to this panel style, and there's been a lot of criticism, and probably rightfully so, of the broadcast of this team and just like what they're producing on a nightly basis. In fact, I remember growing up, and you never missed Coach's Corner. Never, ever did you miss Coach's Corner. But I rarely watch the broadcast team for hockey, Sportsnet and Hockey Night in Canada. I mean, sometimes I do because it's kind of interesting at some times, especially when there's trade rumors. And there's certain personalities I absolutely love. Like there's absolutely an amazing piece to that. But I think changes were needed, were necessary. If you're a Don Cherry fan, you might not like Ron MacLean because of the way what he did with this team, or with the Hockey Night in Canada and what he did to Don Cherry. We'll talk about that in a moment. But I don't mind Ron MacLean, but it might be time. It might be time. But this has been his thing. He loves hockey. He's traveled around the country. He's met fans. He's personable. He's kind. Yeah, he's made some mistakes. He's owned up to those mistakes for the most part. I mean, it's hard to say anything really negative against Ron, and not that I want to be a negative person, but I mean, and then you got Jennifer, who, I mean, sometimes has some decent takes, but sometimes I'm just like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if she's the right opportunity there to you know what I mean? Like it to me, I feel like I need to be very, very careful. And I'm not the biggest fan in the way of I don't find her takes very interesting, to be honest with you. And then you go to Hrudey. Actually, let's go to Kevin Bieksa. Okay, Kevin Bieksa. Who doesn't like Kevin Bieksa? If you don't like Kevin Bieksa, I don't think you like hockey. He's hilarious. He jokes around. He always makes fun of people, and in a kind way. But him and Elliot also brings a lot to the table. Brings a lot to the table in terms of rumors, in regards to trades that happen, in regards to just some of the behind the scenes stuff. I think he's valuable to the. Like he was in probably the wrong spot. Like more if he could have been interviewing like down on the ice or something like that, or before the game started or something. I don't know, but this just didn't seem like he fit. And now he said, so there's people who love his takes, people who hate his takes. And I don't know if I would say I hated his takes. I just found him bland. And the biased goaltender moment every once in a while was good, but for the most part was really lackluster, right? And I know, like, I'm just sharing my honest opinion. I'm not saying he's a bad person. In fact, I'm sure he's a great guy. He seems to be genuine. He seems to be, I mean, obviously he knows the game. He's played the game, but wasn't able to, like, keep me entertained, for example. Now, I know a lot of people think that, right? So when you look at this panel, and let me just, as I was kind of getting ready for tonight, I stumbled across an old article on the Toronto Sun written by Rob Longley, and it was published in June 18, 2025. Okay. And so it literally says this: when did Sportsnet's Hockey Night in Canada lose its way? And it just basically goes in and talks about that even though it was once the most revered sports broadcasting entity in the country, it's now grown tired and predictable and often bland, show lacking in personality despite filling your screen with an seemingly endless stream of personalities. Seemingly endless stream of personalities. Speaking in hockey terms, it says there is a core to build on here for Rogers Sportsnet, but as the recently completed final amplified, there is work to be done. And they give, I don't know how many of these points here, 11, 12, 15 points of why they do not enjoy it. Okay. Now, one of the best things that is out there right now is 32 Thoughts podcast from Elliot Friedman with Kyle Butkus. They offer 15 faults of Hockey Night in Canada's crew. Okay. So it's weird. You got Elliot Friedman that's on this thing, who's got one of the most successful podcasts, and it's still not helping it to go to the next level. It says, when did Hockey Night in Canada begin its slide in its current state? And it says it's tough to pinpoint precisely, but it began sometime after Rogers Communications began its reign as Canadian rights holder 11 years ago, which is now 12 years ago. Over time, the show slowly moved away from the industry leader to one often lacking focus and identity. That's the first point. The second is that there was pressure on, in keeping with the Rogers theme, the pressure should be on with the 12-year, $11 billion deal announced earlier in the spring. Will status quo be enough, right? Then number three is there's bad jokes. He says, obviously the puns made from Ron McLean used to have something, but their attempt at some humor just didn't really hit with the viewers. Number four is the host with the most. And it talks, I won't really go into that one, concerning Rogers suits that their primal rival is forged. Yeah, so TSN's James Duthie has been the most authoritative hockey host in the country, and it isn't close. So they're talking about that TSN has passed them. Okay. They did a poll on it. It says, did you enjoy Hockey Night in Canada's studio crew? And 74% said they're terrible. Wow. That says something. 20% says they're okay, I guess. And 7% said that they're great. Like, say what? Say what? That is so crazy. I need to wow. That is actually surprising when you look at that. Okay, number 5. Sorry, I got hooked up on the poll here. It says personality. Like, it is just talking about, TNT's coverage of the U.S. felt certainly felt more engaging, and they've been in a lot of things. For Game 6 alone, this is talking about Charles Barkley's bits as a ringside reporter were entertaining and a nice diversion. Wow, the Basketball Hall of Famer. Panelist Paul Bissonnette may push the envelope at times, but he's entertaining. He's the entertaining character in Hockey Night in Canada seems to be missing. Number 6 is that it says that there's too many bodies. There's 6 people, sometimes 7. Too many talking heads. Number 7 is back to the TNT Hockey Night in comparison. Not that the pregame interviews are often revealing, but prior to Game 6, the American broadcaster did a better setup job with ringside comments from the key face of each team. The Oilers, Connor McDavid, and Panthers, Matthew Tkachuk. Wow. Number 8, it talks about the chemistry. Is that there wasn't enough engaging voices on this Hockey Night crew. Okay, that didn't seem to like really work with each other. It just kind of was lacking. Number 9, entertainment value. Someone's just saying it just wasn't there. It was bland. It felt analyst is important, and analysis. Analysis is important, but when it comes across as overdone and scripted, it's begging viewers to turn to the baseball game. Wow, the baseball game it talks about. Some of the baseball games are like watching paint dry instead of watching the intermission. Number 10 says, give us some banter. For all its faults, he talked about, McLean and Don Cherry on Coach's Corner and why it was successful, right? Number 11 says insane analysis, not a slight on Jennifer Botterill. Sorry, I'm saying her name wrong. But when 5 commentators are asked to come up with 3 or 4 talking points per intermission, that it's a reach. Case in point, they say after 40 minutes on Tuesday, with all but the final score inevitable, Jennifer said, can the Oilers find a way to come back? Absolutely. If the former Canadian Olympian, really believed that, it says, she might have been the only one in the building. Wow. Okay, last 4. Number 12, Kelly Hrudey could be better used. If anyone gets lost in the drone of competing voices, it might be him. And it goes on and on about it. And this is the guy they finally let go over a year later. And then 13, speaking of more, as previously noted in this space, one of the potential impact voices is Kevin Bieksa, a former hard-nosed defenseman who dishes hard-nosed commentary. Let him loose, it says, and maybe bring in the always opinionated Nick Kypreos for the odd cameo. That would be a good idea. Number 14, take a breath, it says, when there are so many talking heads scrambling to get as many words as possible, information overload mutes the impact. Too often, the show needs to breathe. And then number 15, Chris Cuthbert. No, the veteran play-by-play man isn't a fault. He's the opposite. From Sidney Crosby Golden Goal to now, he has been the voice of so many iconic Canadian hockey moments and continues to be, just as the late, great Bob Cole was in his day. Now it's incumbent for Cuthbert to have a better produced show around him. So, I mean, this was very, very pointed, negative, and it is what it is. I should put this in the show notes today. So it's a lot of information there, right? So, but let's dive into something what I would be like really interested in chatting with you about is where did we go wrong? How do you move from Coach's Corner to this Hockey Night in Canada Sportsnet crew? This is a travesty, honestly. And I say what you want about Don Cherry. He was entertaining. I think that our society has gone so politically correct, and I'm not saying that everything he said was good or, I mean, he needed to be talked to on a number of occasions. But what finally broke the camel's back, the straw that broke the camel's back, was you people. And he's talking about how they need to wear poppies. And that's the thing. And he said way worse things. But I'll tell you this right now. This is for free. Don Cherry is a hockey icon and should be in the Hall of Fame. That's my opinion. He is one of the best guys when it comes to the hockey commentators. He's like me. He butchered names like Patrick Roy instead of Patrick Waugh. Didn't he call is it Yager? Instead of Yager, it's Jaeger to him, or like all these names. I'm terrible at pronouncing names too. I know it's not an easy job, but there was something dynamic about him that just like he was real and honest and passionate about the game. He had great stories. He cared about kids. He cared about our country. He cared about the game of hockey. And that's what we're missing. You know what I mean? It's not just like, you got to have some controversial takes. Listen, clickbait is a real thing. It's a real thing. Now, I'm like, Biz Nasty, like, I think he goes over the line. I do. I think some of the takes that they have and some of the things they say and some things they do, I personally wouldn't want to see a guy like him at this stage until he kind of matures a little bit. But I mean, if you look at like even the Canucks podcast, interesting, right? You look at and I'm not saying I always forget Biz Nasty's podcast name, but with Ray Whitney, I mean they have some really good takes, right? But Kessler Bieksa, excellent. This is the world of podcasting. This is the world of entertainment. There's never been so many opportunities to find personalities, and how can we not find them? And is it just because like hockey players in general are considered more boring in their commentary? They're just, I mean, what is it? What's the difference? Why is it? Where did we lose? Like, there's no personality. Like, what if you bring on, like, when he retires, Brad Marchand or something like that? Or something like, you know what I mean? Like someone who's going to push the envelope a little bit. At least make it so you don't want to miss. And I'll tell you another thing for free. I miss Don Cherry's Rock'em Sock'em Hockey, and it blows my mind to think that they can't produce something like that again. With all the cool graphics and the designers and like with the music and everything. I literally watched one of them just in the last week and a half. And I'm like, man, I miss these. You know how many times I watched those as a teenager, as a young adult? Man alive, every year. What do you want for Christmas? Don Cherry's Rock'em Sock'em Hockey. They totally could bring that back. They totally could. Now it's like, well, there's YouTube, and you need a guy like Don Cherry coming in and using the comment. He was the difference. You can get anyone to edit, and I think those guys did an excellent job. But he wanted to watch certain things. He had goalie fights. He had cheap shots. He had the big hits, the big saves, the awesome goals. I mean, you could make those. You could still have this to this day. This is what I don't understand. Like, I'm just talking about this right now, and my passion's coming out. Like, I think that potentially I could do something like this. Maybe I should. Maybe I can't call it RevTrev's Rock'em Sock'em Hockey, but I should do something like this. I don't know, but you got to have the rights and the NHL rights and all that kind of stuff, and I don't have access to that. But man, I would love to do that. It's like what did Don Cherry's like? Hey, watch out for the choo-choo train. Woo, woo. Like, It's like, what's going on? It's like, doo. I don't know. The trolley tracks, he would say, or it's like, well, he's gonna be seeing birds until next week, or I don't know, like whatever it is. Like oh man, he was hilarious. He was hilarious. Why can't we do this? I really, truly think that there's still a place in this world, in this hockey world, to have something like this. And we need something like Coach's Corner back. We need something better. I as fans, I mean, think about all the kids that could be watching this. Think about all the adults that would want to watch this. And I get it. Whether maybe you don't like Don Cherry, I get it. I was a huge fan. So I'm a bit biased on this take, but man, he was entertaining. Man, he knew his stuff. He would talk about the old days with Bobby Orr, and he would talk all the way to like what was currently happening. Loved watching it. And him and Ron McLean going at it, just hilarious. Old guy, can't teach a dog new tricks, an old dog new tricks. He's that kind of guy. And we're missing those kind of personalities. And everything's about now being politically correct and make sure you don't offend anyone and blah, blah, blah. You know what? Sometimes it's just nice to have a guy who makes you laugh. You know what I'm saying? Oh, my goodness. Well, I've talked way too long about this, but I am personally looking forward to the changes. I hope that Kelly Hrudey finds something else. He said he's not retiring. I think he's got a place in the hockey world. I just don't. I just think it's loud and clear that they tried and it just didn't work, and that's okay. I'm not saying he's a bad person. I just think it's time you got to do something else. Got to be do. I mean, you got to get some kind of different personalities on there. And it is what it is. Okay. So all for you podcasters out there, all you people that, I should say you people, be careful. All the awesome podcast people that are just listening and not watching. Thank you so much for listening. Please take a moment to rate and review. It really does help the channel. I hope that you're really enjoying this conversation that we're having, because this has been a lot of fun to talk about. But I'm just looking at this this channel that I've been doing, and it's been a blast to be a part of it, and I'm really enjoying the whole audio piece to it. It's been great. But yeah, so thanks for being here. I'm going to move into a question and answer thing. I've got like a ton of people here, and we're gonna dive in. So again, sounds like we're a little bit lagging. I've been having so many internet issues lately, frustrating. But let's dive into the comments. And my friend Monty is first one. He's one of my moderators. He says, I can think of a couple good replacements from the Canucks. Demko or EP40 would do great. That's who you want to come in. EP40 would be so boring. You just want them off the team. That's what it is. Okay. Let's go back over to this one. Okay. Cliff says that depends on who's replacing them. I mean, I think that's, you can find someone else. Cats and Rats podcast says they have tried their best to make it better. True. And he also says Botterill, Jennifer Botterill is just ain't it, right? Monty says Kevin Bieksa is the only reason he tunes in. I think there's a lot of people that say that. I tune in because of Elliot Friedman and Kevin Bieksa. So yeah. Vinny 604 says you keep freezing up like a popsicle. Yeah, my bad. There's something going on. I've had people come in and they just haven't done it. Sean K 368 says, get Kempner Canucks on the panel. Let's go. That's I would love to. I would love to. CMAP says, correct me if I'm wrong, and I know you will, Rev, but doesn't Hockey Night in Canada seem to be bland since Don Cherry was fired? 100%. Yeah. Hang Guy says, when Rogers bought it is when it started going downhill, when they fired Don Cherry. Cats and Rats says, Rogers cable can't even keep up with my cable internet. I know. That's who I just rewired with Rogers, and it's still bad. I got double the internet speed, and it's still bad. In fact, it got worse. I brought even a technician to come in. He said he'd fixed it. I'm still lagging. Like right now, my son is probably streaming Rainbow Six Siege right now, okay? It's 10:20 p.m. Pacific time. That's the only person. My other son is at work. My daughter, I don't even think she's home from work yet. My wife's already in bed. It's just me and my son. We have so much internet speed, there should not be a problem. But anyways, sorry, I'm going on a rant. Hang Guy says TNT is the best because they're the only ones not using DEI. You can tell Rogers, ESPN, and even TSN use DEI to hire. TNT only has the top tier hockey people on their show. Even Amazon uses DEI. Cats and Rats says Cheryl Pounder clears Jen Botterill and Cassie Campbell. Monty says everything is safe, no hot takes. I know. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. Just had to have a quick drink of water there. We need some hot takes. Mark is here. A change is good. I hope they keep Kevin Bieksa. He made the show. They're absolutely doing that. CMAP says, remember when Sportsnet started, how it was regional and the panel for the Canucks games were BC based? Now it's all Eastern people who don't have a clue about BC sports scene. Well, yes and no. I mean, like, Bieksa played here, so that's where I'd say no. Hanga says, I don't like what Rogers is doing to Canada. And he also says that Bieksa should be the main host for the next 20 years, I think. He is by far their best asset. And he says that, he says, let's bring in Luongo. And Don is a true Canadian, Don Cherry. Yep. CMAP says, new panel for Hockey Night in Canada. Rev, Canucks Uncensored, and Swerve and Irvin. Woo! That would be quite the panel. Monty says, Cherry spoke from the heart, not a script. He made mistakes because of that, but he was real. Often he said what you were thinking about the game. Absolutely, Monty. You're totally right. Hang Guy says, Spit and Chicklets. Oh, yeah, that's what it is. Spit and Chicklets. I do like their podcast. I really do. I've listened to a lot of it. Is uncensored and kind of casual format. Biz is more professional on TNT. That's true. When Biz is on there, he is better because he knows better to be like crazy hooligan, right? Monty said Brad Marchand would be interesting. I agree. CMAP says Cherry wore his patriotism on his sleeve. He was a proud Canadian, and you know it. And it made us to be more proud of our country, right? Of the troops, of the hardworking first responders, of the hardworking people who make this country run every day, going to work, whether it's, at the gas station or grocery store or whatever. Like there's hardworking Canadians who love hockey, and he really amplified it, right? And he gave a spotlight to all this stuff. It was amazing. Monty says, no rock'em sock'em because of violence. I know. It's like, it's the only game in the world, except for lacrosse, that you can fight other than UFC, boxing. You get a penalty, right? There's hitting. It's the fastest game on earth. It's the coldest game on earth. I guess like figure skate and all that stuff would be cold too. luge, all that kind of stuff. Okay, it's one of the coldest games. It's tied for the coldest game on earth, right? But like the hits, the physicality, the skirmishes, the chirping. I mean, there's a lot that makes hockey awesome. Yeah, Ryan Whitney from the Spittin' Chicklets, he's pretty good. I mean, they're super biased when it comes to Oilers and the Leafs, for sure. Mark says the problem is our culture has changed, not for the better. Things he said, Don Charlie said back then were normal. Today, you cannot say something without offending someone. Now with the Bill C9, it would be classified as hate speech. Sorry for going political. I mean, I don't think the Bill C9 piece has to do with hockey, to be honest. It's sports. It's a different thing, but yeah, there's some awkwardness to it for sure. Yeah. So Mark, thanks for sharing your opinion. I do appreciate it, but yeah, our culture has changed. We've gotten softer, but also there's been some good changes too. Like there's been some things that we needed to change. There were some really brutal things that people were saying to each other, so we had to be careful as well. Hang guy, I don't know the story behind the end of the Rock'em Sock'em. Not sure if Don stopped it on his own or if the NHL took away the rights to make something like that. Who knows? Who knows? I don't know what that is. Someone can, I mean, there's AI now. Someone just Google it or just go to, Chat GBT and ask. We need to know. Mark says, I have no sympathy for Ron McLean. He threw Don Cherry under the bus. I know there's a lot of people mad. Hanga says, or just be offended and move on. Why do they have to bring out the pitchforks and try to crucify people who say things they don't agree with? We live in a culture now where you can no longer agree to disagree. And it's tough. It's tough. We're getting kind of like talking about Canadian culture now, everyone. This is kind of interesting. All the podcasters listening is like, whoa, man, he's getting into it. C-Map. This is all my awesome viewers who are posting this. This is pretty cool. C-Map, all the great players on the women's side of sport, and Botterill is the best they could get. Ooh, that's tough, C-Map. I don't think she's awful. I think I know she knows the game. Yeah. To me, she just might not be as entertaining as I'd hoped. And not everyone can be the next Don Cherry. So I'm not saying everyone has to have Don Cherry's personality, but Cats and Rats says, they are paying my monthly bill this month. I have a technician coming tomorrow. It's been so bad this month during the night streams. Yeah, I know, man. Simon's here. What's my opinion about Hrudey not coming back to hockey night in Canada? And yeah, I've just done. I'm in minute 37 of this. Had a long conversation about that. He's had a long run. He's tried his best. I don't think he was entertaining enough. I'm okay with the change. That's my one. BX says he needs to leave the panel to become our color guy in Vancouver. There you go. Let's see here. Rogers internet strikes again. I know. So I'm doing there. Yes. Japan 4's got it right. It's the coolest game on earth. I love that one. Monty says soccer is now the #1 youth sport in Canada. What? Well, I guess that makes sense. People can afford to play soccer. You don't need all the pads. You don't need to know how to skate. You don't have to get a rink. I know that the soccer fields are still, in demand. Easier to make a soccer field than it is a hockey rink. There's other sports, baseball, football, basketball. Yeah, there's a lot going on. Okay, so Monty, when we were growing up, every one of us played soccer to start. It was the #1 sport you quit. Because you got older and you realized this game's not actually that great. there's so many better games to play than soccer. It's like, so you kick the ball, but you can't use your hands, right? And then the professionals flop and dive and act like they got shot. And it's turned off a lot of people. But across the world, it's the biggest sport and it's not close. Now, the NBA's got flopping problems for sure right now, but it didn't when we were growing up. It just started in the last number of years where it got bad. I mean, LeBron James is the king of flop, okay? SGA? No. Yeah, SGA. So, Alexander for the Oklahoma City Thunder, Canadian boy, flops way too much. You can't fall down on every time you shoot the ball, right? So, Simon says, "Hey, how are you doing, man?" You're talking to CMAP. Okay. You guys are talking. You weren't talking to me. Okay. CMAP says he may be American, but Coach's Corner with Torts. I mean, Torts would be awesome. He would be absolutely awesome. Brian's here, jumped on late. Welcome. Good to see you. Monty says, as a rugby player, the soccer stat is sad that it is taken over. Soccer is taken over. Brian says, Jennifer Botterill should have been the one to go. I mean, it's the thing. It's the politically correct moment, it feels like. You know what I mean? Like, maybe if you want to have a female person, maybe there's someone else there that could do it. I don't know. I mean, I don't mind giving people a chance to see if they can do it. I mean, she's got to have the knowledge to be able to get this job, right? I don't think it was tokenism that went there, but who knows? Who knows? Is that right? Tokenism? Am I using that correctly? I think that Jennifer, there's moments where she does well, but I just don't know if she's hitting the crowd that want, I got to be careful what I say. Monty, rugby, same field, no dives, lots of hitting and contact. Play rugby, ditch soccer, he says. Simon says, what's your predictions for your the NFL start? Yeah, you know what? I've got my own RevTrev NFL content. You got to go there to get all that kind of stuff. I won't be getting into the football content tonight, even though I absolutely love watching it and love talking about it and love talking about fantasy football. So, just a couple more. Cats and Rats, soccer was a gateway sport in Canada to get your eye, foot, body coordination ready for other sports. Didn't need top coaches to teach you the game. Easy to run and set up. Okay. And Wust is here and says, give me James freaking Duthie. Yeah, he's really good. He's really good. I mean, Bob McKenzie's been excellent. Like more of a stoic kind of guy, but passionate, knew what he was talking about, miss him around, But TSN, which is ESPN now, affiliate, those guys, they've got some great characters there. So Simon says, how did you like Scott Oak? I can't believe he retired. He wanted to do it on his own terms. I mean, he was excellent. He was totally excellent. Again, you saw his passion. He had interesting questions, interesting takes. Loved his segments. The after hours stuff. And that was super interesting. So anyways, we've been going on for approximately 43 minutes. And I've got to put this up on the podcast tonight, the audio podcast. So I've got to call it a night. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. What a great evening. What an interesting topic. Trying not to be offensive or rude, but also trying to do passionate, realistic, and honest content. And if you like that kind of content, everyone just hit the like and subscribe. That would be great because it's free to do. Oh, before we go, I'm giving away right now 5 free RevTrev memberships. I forgot to do it last night. So I'm going to dive into this right now. I'm bringing up the YouTube channel right now, and this is going to be good. So if you're in the channel, if you're still here after 44 minutes, you got a chance to win this. So let's get into it right now. Right now. Okay. So I hit the button. And where is it? No, this is the one. How do I give them away again? Membership gifting. Send 5 now. Okay. I'm going to send 5 right now in 5. Oh, by the way, if you're not following this, you're not eligible. It's free to follow. It's not, but I'm giving you a membership. This is where you get the perks. Okay. And you can get them anyways by doing a monthly membership fee. There's 2 options there. You can use it. Okay. Here we go. So 5 are going out right now, and it's spinning like crazy. And who got them? Big Hog Hockey got it. June's EJ North King 21. Scott Wood received them. You know what? That's awesome. That's awesome. Congrats, guys, for getting the free memberships. So happy to have you a part of the RevTrev crew. If you didn't get one, you can still get one and be a part of it. I'm going to be making a members only video coming up in the next week or so. So make sure you subscribe. Only those that have members, the paid memberships get it. So those 5 people just got a paid membership for a month and can renew if they want. There's no pressure to renew. So there's how it goes. Okay. So we're going to go. Thanks again for watching. Appreciate y'all. Remember, believe in blue. Let's enjoy this Canucks rebuild because we all wanted it. And we cheer this team on. Go Canucks. Go.